answered my questions. Maybe the last question would be, what if, yes, you've mentioned all the elements, that yes, it has to be a false matter, it has to be defamatory, it must refer to the plaintiff and all that. So what, and the plaintiff must have suffered legal injury, an injury, maybe monetary, in terms of maybe now people, because now his reputation is at stake, he has his economic, how do I put it, his income is affected in some way. So let's say there's this celebrity, he has so many followers, and then there's somebody says something about him that defames him on the face of it. However, the plaintiff is unable to show or prove to the court that there's a link between the defamatory statements and him losing money or losing his reputation, and him losing his income or his income reducing. Because when it comes to tort law, when you commit a tort or defame someone or negligence or whatever, the court will always seek to reinstate you back to the position you were before the tort happened. So now, in the cases you've mentioned, how did the court calculate the amount of money they should give this plaintiff? And because now we know the burden of proof is on the plaintiff to prove that there's a direct link between what the defendant said and how and his economic loss. Please address that. Thank you.
Most obliged, Angela, on that question. And what I would like to say is that tort law on defamation is a civil wrong. And secondly, a reputation may not be quantified. But when it comes to, let's say, a business that you are attached to, the plaintiff has the burden of proof on balance of probabilities that indeed, maybe on his sector or her sector, he has been earning a lot of money, which can be quantified, let's say 30,000 or 30 million, as a result of the number of the views or the people who are subscribing to that business information. So in that regard, the court itself will have to look at the circumstances and will have to evaluate maybe if they will award quantifiable damages or not. And secondly, as I address this issue to you, Angela Ache, and all other people, is that it is discretionary. It is discretionary in that the court, however, if they will look at the circumstances of the case itself, and they found out that there are some of the interests that you have suffered and they are not quantifiable, then you can be awarded general damages. And however, also if the court finds out that the defendant has done something which has aggravated that injury to another levels, that aggravation may not be quantified. But what can the court award is that they can award aggravated compensatory damages. So I think I have answered your question very well.
Yes, thank you. And you've mentioned the fact that the balance of the burden of proof shifts to the plaintiff. So he who alleges must prove. Maybe just to add, there's an instance where the burden of proof shifts to the defendant. In this case, the defendant has to prove on a balance of probabilities that the statements that were made were not false, they were true to the extent of his, he or she must prove to the court that yes, I made these statements, but these statements were true. And he can use, and it's like the defense, you mentioned the defense of truth. So the balance, the burden of proof normally shifts. So it's the plaintiff proves that the elements of defamation have been met. And then now it shifts to the defendant to disprove what the plaintiff has said and to prove that what he or she stated was indeed the right thing, was true and accurate. Thank you. So I'll open up others who want to ask questions.
Thank you, Angela.
Yes.
Maybe I can just add something on section 16 of the Defamation Act on mitigation of damages. So when you talk about mitigation of damages, sometimes maybe the defendant has some of the grounds whereby on balance of probabilities, he can say that yes, he's liable to some extent because some of the information might have a statement of truth. Therefore, the damages in which the court might award on that circumstances may be mitigated, so that the defendant may pay lesser damages. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, there's someone who has raised not a question, just an addition. Maybe I can read it out. Any person invoking their right under Article 33 of the Constitution must be aware of the proviso at Article 33.3, in addition to Article 24, limitations to the exercise of the freedom of expression. So thank you for that. Your name is VH. I don't know why, but it's okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah.
Anyone else with a contribution or an addition, a question, maybe? Anyone? Brian, Elizabeth Akinyi, Fathy. Does anyone have a question to our presenter? Okay, there being no question, I think we have come to the end of the meeting and of the session today. And I think, I don't know, Nema, are you able to avail your write-up?
Yeah, I am able.
Yes, so you can share it with me, and if someone needs it, they can contact me, so that they can see what we have shared today. But it will also be on YouTube, and we'll be able to catch up with it from there. So thank you all for joining and participating, and for your patience till 9:30. This is unbelievable. I'm very grateful, and I'm honored to have all of you join us, despite the technicalities and the challenges we had as we started. But I believe now you are well equipped when it comes to matters of defamation, and you know your rights. You know, if someone defames you, what you can do, and you know what you can respond, how you can respond if you ever find yourself on the defendant's side. So with that, I want to thank you and wish you a good night and a blessed evening. Thank you. Goodbye.